of her range that it wasn't even worth attempting to dream about buying it. It hadn't stopped her staring at the numbers and laughing with despair. "Excellent work, everyone." She turned off the music again. "If you feel ready, add your hands to the arch movement by stroking them down your thighs as you bend down and up as you rise." She showed them what she meant, and a few people in the class made an "oh" sound as they understood how it all worked together. She loved it when a dance just clicked for someone. "Okay, let's go, from the top." After the dance class, she had an hour to head upstairs to her flat and eat a very late lunch before she needed to prepare the club for tonight. Her stump ached as she climbed the stairs. It always did after a dance class, but she wasn't going to give up teaching anytime soon. After she'd lost her leg just below her knee in a car accident, she'd given up performing as a burlesque dancer. She'd invested the insurance payout in her own club, and now she watched other dancers perform on her stage. The classes were hell on her stump, but she managed with a decent prosthetic, and besides, demonstrating for her students helped keep her fit and connected to dancing. These stairs were the only shitty thing about Seraph's. There were many things she loved about this old building. The location and being able to live at her place of business were her favourites. The lack of a lift was not one of them. By the time she'd come inside her flat and made a coffee, she was happy to collapse in front of her computer. Before she opened her email, she logged into the plant parent group. It was her guilty pleasure. The group had grown exponentially during the lockdowns as people brought the outdoors inside, and as a long-term member, she'd signed up to be one of the admins. Maybe someone in the group would decide today was a good day to start a feisty argument over the best way to grow succulents in dim light, or something. Anything to distract her from her problems. The heady days of the most diva plant were a distant memory. Obviously, it was a maidenhair fern. She'd never been able to keep those alive. Perhaps she could start a new thread to keep everyone occupied and entertained. It'd certainly be more fun than worrying. It wasn't like she had any control over what happened with the building now, anyway. Life had taught her to try not to worry about the future. Bad things happened, and she could deal with them when they did. Or at least, that was the theory. Her brain didn't always cooperate. Beth gulped down the rest of her coffee and checked her DMs. Not the Queen. Can you believe how much everyone is losing their minds over Monty Don's planned visit? Fucking hell, she'd forgotten about that. She chuckled at her friend's comment, then read through some of the group. It had been a coup to get the famous gardener to join the group for an online chat, and many people were really excited. Whoa, a bit too excited in one case. She shared the comment to Not the Queen. Queen B. Who knew his hands would cause such a flutter? Smiley face. She didn't expect an answer right away. Not the Queen wasn't often online at the same time as her anymore. She reached up to stretch her shoulders before she cooled down too much after the class. Not the Queen had been a much-needed social contact during the long lockdowns. It had never mattered that they didn't know each other's real names. They were too busy talking about other stuff. They used to chat in the evenings when Beth couldn't open Seraph's and she had nothing better to do. But now everyone was vaccinated and life had returned to, well, it wasn't normal or the same as before. There wasn't really a word for how life was now compared to before the pandemic. Occasionally, Beth wondered if they should meet up in real life, but she wasn't sure she wanted to change their friendship like that. Not the Queen. Yeah, I don't get it. They look like normal man hands to me. Queen B. Ha! Must be a straight thing. Not the Queen. Maybe it's about competence. He gardens with his hands, and he's good at it, so... ... Queen B. Must be. Not the Queen. Admin during the session is going to be a pain. Will you be around for it? Beth opened her email to check her calendar, even though she knew she'd be downstairs working at Seraph's given that the online chat with Monty Don was scheduled for 8 p.m. on a Friday night. She could probably log in from the back room to avoid an extra trip up the stairs. If she missed an hour or two, her bar manager, Steph, would easily be able to cope. Beth employed a great collection of people, and they'd easily be able